Wait for a few people to come on here. Then we can get started. Wasn't planning on going live tonight, but I saw this news article and I'd like to talk about it. Like to talk about what's going on the last couple of days. So I'll just wait for a few people to come on here and we will discuss. Anybody there yet? Nope. No one is live yet. No one's watching. Three people watching. Hello. Just give me 1 second. Wait for a few people to come on here. It's got to fix the title though. I don't understand why the title says what it says. In any case, we're going to talk about the case in the Vancouver Law Courts, downtown Vancouver, where I've been at the last few days. Even though I'm not really a journalist, I just find this stuff very interesting. And I think we're making history here. And history is also being made for us. I've been downtown the last 2 days, paying attention with, a lot of people were there. Laurel and Tyler Thompson, Pastor Art from Calgary, Kevin J. Johnson, Vlad was there, Dessa Orlowitz, Elisa Johnson, Marco Pietro, Mac was there. There's a lot of people. A lot of people are there besides that. And people are hoping things will change for the better because, of course, Dr. Bonnie Donkey Henry has been basically dragged in to court as a result of her closing down the churches. She said the churches would be closed down for 2 weeks in November. Well, it's 2 weeks in November has long passed, and now we're into March of 2021. And they have a right to be mad. And a lot of people sleepwalking through this whole pandemic simply don't realize what the hell is going on. Even if you explain it to them, they have that, I don't even know what the hell that look is. I guess people call it the fluoride look, the zombie look, or whatever, right? Like, and I've said this before. How is it that you can have all these different establishments open, but no, you can't have churches open? And I've said it in many videos. I'll say it real quick here again. For most of the pandemic, and up until November, you could have 50 people in a church, and it didn't matter the size of the church. It wasn't based on square footage. 50 people in a church, didn't matter what the hell size it was. And then they hammered them. They said, you know what, no more. Cases are going up. We're going to have to close the churches. Meanwhile, of course, restaurants are open. And the thing is, I don't want restaurants to be closed. I don't want coffee shops to be closed. I want everything open. And if you're scared, you stay home. It's not the other way around. If you're living in fear, or if you have COVID, I feel sorry for you, but please stay home. It's not my responsibility to care for everybody else. It's never been that way, because if it was that way, that means that if I saw somebody in a Safeway or a Superstore or a Save on Foods, with a box of cheesies or a can of Coke in their shopping cart, then I should be able to have the right to take that out, because then your health is my responsibility, if you want to look at it that way. But I don't think my health is your responsibility, so there's no reason for me to do anything to worry about you. But if you believe in this whole pandemic, if you believe that this pandemic is legitimate, then of course you think all the measures make sense. Well, they don't make sense when, of course, now churches have been closed for a long period of time. Not that I go to church every week. I want to make that clear, but I'm just pointing out the complete hypocrisy and all this total bullshit. And the reason I get mad is because, of course, it's BS. It's not legit what they're doing. And once again, if it doesn't make sense, then why the hell are they doing it? You have to remember, these are the health experts. People love those experts. Well, if this is your health expert and you have the government with millions, billions of dollars at their disposal, they should be able to find the absolute premium optimum solution for the situation that we all find ourselves in, not just in Vancouver or BC or Canada, but across the world. But no, the only thing that Dr. Donkey could come up with was, of course, closing down churches completely. Why would you do that? Oh, it's because, we have to keep people safe. Well, really, from the statistics, there's not that much transmission going on at churches. So logically speaking, there's no reason for her to do what she's doing. And from what I've talked to people from communist countries, and this is what they do in communist countries, they completely close down religion. They don't want you to worship anything. Look it up. And then people are going to say, ha ha, you're a conspiracy theorist and all this crap. The same people who believe this pandemic is completely legitimate. People wearing 2 masks outside now, 2 masks. So you tell me, everyone's got their own opinion. But I like to have an opinion based on facts. I don't like having opinions based on fear. I don't like to have an opinion based on, I don't know what I want to call her, but Dr. Donkey Henry. Is she corrupt? Is something going on here? Because the facts that she's giving us, there is no facts. Nothing makes sense. So they took her to court. The churches in the Fraser Valley took her to court specifically for the reason of, why are you locking down our churches? Why can we not preach? Why we cannot have a congregation, a service inside? Just like Costco is wide open, which of course it's a food establishment, I understand it. But if you've been in a Costco, it looks like it's completely normal. It doesn't look like there's a pandemic going on. When you go in there's no social distancing in the whole thing. Everything should be equal across the board. In my opinion, open it all up. Open it all up. It's been a year. Open it all up. I'm not here to tell you to close everything down. I'm the complete opposite. Open it all up. Let's end all this nonsense. Today, Texas opened up completely. No more mask mandates. Mississippi did the same thing. And I think either North or South Dakota also got rid of the mask mandates. It's been a year. Remember 2 weeks to flatten the curve? Well, guess what? It's almost been 52 weeks to flatten the curve. And the only thing that's been flattened is people's hope in their lives, people's hope and trust in the government. That's the only thing that's been flattened. I have no hope and no trust in government. I do not trust anything after 1 year of being lied to. Let me tell you that. I have zero hope, zero faith. It's a shit show. It's just really a shit show. So, I've been there for the last 2 days. It's been pretty good. Today we had the pipeline protesters there with us, not with us, but in the same part of the law courts outside. They were protesting because I guess one of their leaders apparently is going to jail for 3 months in regards to whatever the hell he was doing. So it was a bit of a shit show, there wasn't any arguing and stuff. It was just awkward and very, very noisy, drums and horns, and it felt like a gong show. I felt like I was at a circus all day. Like, talk about getting a bloody headache. Jeez. But everyone has a right to protest. Everybody has a right to protest. And the thing that I saw that everybody was angry at was the government. We're pissed off at the government, and so are they. And that's one thing that brings everybody together, is because the government's overreach in everybody's life is just completely out of control, specifically when it comes down to the pandemic, in my opinion. George, hey George, how's it going, buddy? You're 7 minutes behind. You can watch the first 7 minutes later on. Okay, so what was I saying here? So anyways, this is the second day of court, and I just saw a nice province article, surprisingly an actually good article, an honest article, because I don't really think they can spin this too much. They can try and spin this whole situation and make Christians look bad, but logically speaking, it just doesn't make too much sense, even for people who are completely zombie fluoride brain dead wearing 2 masks outside. It doesn't make much sense when you can go into any Starbucks or JJ Bean, or you can go into a McDonald's, or there's so many different places. The schools are open as well, but you can't go into church, completely closed down. And you have to ask yourself, why is that? It doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make sense. So there's got to be a reason. There, even if it's not based on health, there's always a reason why people do something. Specifically, the government is doing something as stupid as they are overall. They're doing this for a specific reason. But anyways, you know what? Instead of me rambling on here, let me just show you the article, and then we can discuss it a bit. I'm going to share that article from the province, who's actually done some good journalism. So let's see if it's all working out here. Let's go to the thing. Perfect. Let's go there. So what does it say? COVID-19, judge grills lawyer about Dr. Henry not providing affidavit in church case, meaning she hasn't provided a written statement. She's known about this court case, but oh, she's so busy. What's she busy with? Spewing out nonsensical numbers every day, cases, right? The judge said that the churches were entitled to know how the orders would allow someone to go into a bar and watch a hockey game for an hour or two, but at the same time prevent someone from sitting in a church for the same amount of time. And these are just logical things that we should ask ourselves. This is not logical what's going on. It's never been logical from day one. And this right here is simply one minuscule fact that's completely provable and completely logical, meaning this is, to point this out is logical. What they're doing is illogical, but it's only one minuscule fact. There's so many facts that I've done in my over 255 videos I've done on this whole pandemic since day one. But this finally made it to mainstream news. Congratulations. Congratulations to the province, Keith Fraser, for doing your job after a year of spewing out nonsense. Well, I don't know specifically about the province, but global CTV News, CBC, are just complete parasites this whole year. If they have earned a reputation of being complete dirtbags, if anyone has, I mean, they have. So let's read this. March 3rd. So this is actually for tomorrow. So you're getting the news ahead of time, guys. This is supposed to be for tomorrow morning. BC's top trial court judge questions a BC government lawyer Tuesday as to why Dr. Donkey Henry, the provincial health officer, did not provide a written affidavit in the case of 3 churches claiming their religious rights were violated when church services were restricted under the regulations. The government lawyer had barely begun his submissions into the Vancouver court case before he faced a number of questions from BC Supreme Court Chief Justice Christopher Hinkson, and good on him. Morley told the judge, Dr. Donkey Henry's duty under the Constitution was to protect public health in a way that proportionately and reasonably limited the charter freedoms the 3 churches claim were breached, and they were breached. Let me just pause this. We'll get to that in a minute. The judge asked him, who decides what is proportionate? And Morley responded by saying that it was Dr. Donkey who did so, and that was the subject of review by the court. Dr. Donkey is really holding all the cards, said Hinkson. She knows why she's doing things. Exactly. She knows exactly why she's doing things. She's a public health official for a specific reason. You would think she knows what she's doing, and if she doesn't know what the hell she's doing, why is she there? Obviously she knows, right? But the question we all have to ask ourselves is, why is she doing that? And really, I have a lot more questions besides why she's closed churches. When you look at the statistics of the people, the rates of infection, the death rates, and so forth, I have a lot of questions. Lots of people have lots of questions. That's why we've been protesting for almost a year now. We have a lot of questions, and I have more and more questions every single day that this whole pandemic continues. Over almost a year now, 1 year anniversary this month, with no end in sight. It's unbelievable that we find ourselves in this ridiculous situation, and you see the zombie class of people now wearing, like I said, 2 masks outside. Who told you to wear 2 masks outside? No one, not even Dr. Donkey. She didn't tell you to wear 2 masks outside in the sun, but you're doing it. Why? Why are you doing it? Because you're not paying attention? You don't even know what the hell's going on. You probably don't even know that churches are closed because you don't care. The judge noted that there was no affidavit filed by Dr. Donkey, although there was an affidavit filed by another doctor in the case. So how do I know what Dr. Donkey is doing and why? Asked the judge. They noted that the process of public health orders being issued allows a party affected by an order to seek a reconsideration of the decision, an avenue that was pursued in the case of the churches. The judge said he wasn't sure the court was equipped to test the reasonableness of medical opinion and noted it was not a battle of experts before him. But when you deprive the complainants of the ability to understand how Dr. Donkey got from A to B, the court can't look at it. It really isn't much of a review. Basically he wants to know what the hell's going on. Why are you closing churches but bars and everything else, like I've stated, can be open? What's your reasoning behind it? So it basically here, Judge Hinkson says it gives Dr. Donkey absolute authority, and if she chooses not to share her thought process with the court, there's no oversight. Essentially, he's stating that, she basically has absolute power. We don't know why she's doing things, and she's basically a dictator. We just have to follow everything she's doing blindly like a bunch of idiots for a year. And I don't want to follow her for a year. I didn't want to follow her after about 2 weeks because it looked like total horseshit, and here we are a year later and everybody's following in line, following on. Got to trust those experts. What? Trust those experts right to the grave? It's been a year, for fuck's sakes. Ridiculous. And people just think, oh, you're just some crazy psycho. You're getting mad all the time. You know what? If you're not mad about being locked down for a year, if you're not pissed off about everything that's happening in this city, this province, this country, and this world after almost a year, there's something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with me. This is how you should act after losing a year of your life for fear. Who knows what the hell's going on behind the scenes, but it doesn't make any sense to me. Fear, basically crazy overreactions to a situation, blatant lies, and what else is there? So many things going on, and people brush it under the rug. Oh, she's a doctor, she's an expert. Really? After a year, you're still going to go along with that same song? You better change the tape, change the CD, because I don't want to listen to this song anymore. I'm tired of what I'm listening to. It doesn't make sense. Never did. Never made sense. The judge said the churches were entitled to know how the orders would allow someone to go into a bar and watch a hockey game for an hour or two, but at the same time frame prevent someone from sitting in a church or even basically a mosque or a temple for the same amount of time. How do they come to that conclusion? It's a point I'm struggling with, he said. This is the judge. Nobody elected Dr. Donkey. She's been appointed and she has a difficult job. Oh, poor Dr. Donkey. But if you just take it on faith, meaning you just trust her, that's an ironic term to use. See, this guy has common sense, a judge with common sense. I hope everybody else starts paying attention, because once this starts breaking the airwaves, and hopefully this kind of information is found on all the different news sites, global, CTV, CBCs, hopefully we can get rid of all this nonsense before spring even starts. Finally, some good news here. Finally, a real news article. Unbelievable that I'm actually reading this from a real media news site, right? Because nobody trusts Nobody trusts YouTubers because they're just a bunch of conspiracy theorists. Well, maybe you're going to trust the province now because they're reporting the truth, actually. Or actually, they're not even reporting the truth. They're just reporting what's actually going on and not hiding the truth is what they usually do. So if you just take it on faith that she's balancing all of these things, and it is ironic. Morley said that the way Donkey has given reasons for her health orders, for the most part, have been through her weekly televised news conferences. And in almost every one of those, at least in the last while, she has talked about this issue in the religious communities. Almost like she doesn't like religions. When Hinkson said that none of the information from the news conferences was before him, Morley replied that it was in fact part of the recorded file in the case. The Riverside Cavalry Chapel, the Emmanuel Covenant Reformed Church, and the Free Reformed Church of Chilliwack are seeking to set aside the public health orders restricting religious gatherings. Morley is expected to continue his submissions Wednesday. Okay, so let's get to the video here. I didn't even see this myself, but let me just crank this up and let's play this. Wait a second. Let me just refresh this again. Maybe we'll get that. Is this it? Let me see here. Oh, this is it. Let's play this. Oh, let's just whatever. Let's just, the thing is, what people don't understand is just because somebody writes some words on a piece of paper and they make it a rule or a mandate, you know what? To me, that means absolutely nothing. These are just regular people. How about if I wrote something on a piece of paper and then, I said, I don't want to pay taxes. I just made a new rule. Or everybody walking down my street has to wear a pink dress. I made a new rule. This is what people don't understand. Everyone's used to following orders and obeying and stuff. These are just people. They're not above you. They're below you. These are civil servants, and we pay their wages. She makes about $300,000 a year to wreck our life for the last year. She's making a nice hefty profit, destroying our life, obviously at our expense. Let's continue. And I think this whole thing is going to come to a grinding halt. once this sets a precedent, this is going to go across Canada. All churches will be open. And then from there, other industries are going to follow suit and say, well, if the churches are open, why can't I be open? You know, or I want to be open completely. If the churches are open, I want to be open, and I want to be open completely. Stuff like that, because people will see this and understand. You know, nightclubs are completely closed as well. So they're going to say, well, if we follow the guidelines, why is it that we're still closed? So this is a precedent-setting event. People don't understand what this means, but this can blow the whole thing wide open. Brian Jones, who is this guy? What do I make? How much do you make? She makes over $300,000 a year. You getting mad at me? I hope not, buddy. Oh my God. Does Brian Jones need to get blocked? I don't deal with dummies. Anyways, that's that. So, anyways, let's just go here. Like I said, people just, they like to, they have cognitive dissonance. I've noticed that with people. And if you tell them something, if it doesn't fit into their narrative or what they want to believe, they'll just like tune it out. You know, you can't just tune out her closing down churches. Go away. Why are you here, Brian? Just go away. Nobody cares what you have to say. Tell the truth about what? Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Everybody look at Brian. He wants to be a showpiece. Tell the truth. Tell the truth about what? The churches are closed and they should be open. That's the truth. I'm telling the truth. I'm reading right from the province. Am I lying? Anyways, these are the kind of people, I don't know who they are. I've never actually had one like that. Never had a donkey like that. But anyways, yeah, people just want to believe what they want to believe. And if you show them the facts, they still don't want to believe it. But when it comes to something like this, if it actually gets out of mainstream news, people are going to be more inclined to believe it because they have a trust for, you know, what they consider journalists that have gone to school. A guy like me, I'm not a journalist, I'm just a YouTuber. But you know what? You don't need to be a journalist to point out facts. These are just logical, common sense facts that just absolutely don't make any sense. And it's important to point this stuff out because a lot of people just don't want to see it. The guy's weird, man. Brian Jones, run along. Those guys, I don't know what they have in their heads. You know, especially when you're actually sitting here showing the facts and it's just like, this is completely logical. This is like so black and white that this you can't even make you can't make up how black and white it is. If something else is open and this isn't, and you can't prove that the religious churches have a lot more infection or a much higher death rate, why are they closed? Logical stuff. This is not my opinions. This is like such common sense facts, and this is why I think tomorrow is going to be a big day. I think I'm hoping. Okay, Brian, I'm not going to talk to you anymore. I think you like the attention. Go create your own YouTube channel. You can talk to whoever you want. Like, seriously. Hilarious. It's good for a laugh, though. I do appreciate it, actually. You made me laugh a bit, and that's always good. He sounds like a bot, Chris. Yeah, that's okay. It's good, though. Anyways, you know, I think everything's going to come to a screeching halt because this will set a precedent, like I've already stated, and this is so logical. Like, in all honesty, there's been so many logical facts to prove that this is not what they say it is, and there's no reason. It is something. I'm going to say, you know, there is something. Of course, there is. People are getting sick. I know people who got sick from it, you know, and but I'm just saying the way they've reacted to the situation makes me look at them a little closer through a microscope, the way they've reacted to government. And a lot of people have felt the same way. And it's been a year. It's been a long time, almost 52 weeks for people to look at the facts and actually examine what's going on. And maybe this is going to be the thing that cracks the ice and just basically destroys their whole narrative. Maybe this is it. This is going to be the first crack in the ice, the first crack in the dam, or whatever you want to call it, to bring it all down. The house of cards, the dominoes, and they all start falling, because it's got to start somewhere. And sometimes you don't know what is going to bring people down, bring the corruption down. But it could be anything, and this basically could be it, because she's not going to have any real reasons. She hasn't even provided a written affidavit. She has not provided any evidence, and she works for the government. You don't tell me the government doesn't have lawyers that can have all the evidence. Like, if you're implementing a lockdown, if you're closing down the churches, don't you think you would have the data to back up what you're doing? But not for this case. You should have had that data written down before you did the lockdowns in November. So Dr. Donkey should actually have all the data available immediately, because of course, if she did something, if she closed something down, she would have to state, these are the reasons I'm doing it. Well, she doesn't have any real reasons that she wants to disclose. She must have her hidden reasons, but it doesn't align with health measures. This is the whole situation here. So that's the whole thing, right? This is the whole thing. And this is going to it's going to set a precedent. It's going to bring down the whole house of cards, because, like I said, logically, it doesn't make any sense. And if it doesn't make any sense, regardless if we think something else is going on behind the scenes, it doesn't really matter. All that matters is it doesn't make sense, so open up the churches. And the thing is, hopefully more industries will come and take her to court, nightclubs, and any other business that's affected, and open it all up, and let's crush this whole thing, because we're done with this. It's over. We don't need this. And if you want to wear a mask and if you're scared, then please, please, please. And I'm not trying to be sarcastic. Honestly, some people they're fearful. And if you are fearful, I understand. But please just stay home. Let everybody else get on with their lives. It's not fair that we have been going on now for a year across the world. 7 billion people have been affected by this situation. You know, these lockdowns, they have literally killed more people than, of course, the pandemic. How so? Because they had, when you lock down here, it screws things up. When you lock down in countries like India, guess what? They're already poor. Now you made them into extreme poverty where they can't even feed themselves. People will die of starvation and stuff like that. And of course, in first world countries like ours, like I said, suicides as a result of losing your business, drug overdoses, depression, tons of shit. So much stuff. It's just logical. But people don't want to see it. People just don't care. They don't understand it. And that's just the way it goes, right? But I'm here, like a lot of people on the front lines, trying to explain what the hell's going on, because a lot of people just either they don't want to see it or they don't care. But once it comes out of the mainstream, that dam's going to break, and people are going to be like this. What? She's been lying to us for a year? I'm like, I've been trying to tell you for a year, but you didn't listen, because I'm just a pissed off guy broadcasting from my laptop in my home office. So I don't count as a voice. But as soon as you hear a guy like Paul Johnson from Global News, hey, he's real news, so I trust him. Meanwhile, you know what I mean? The guy is just completely useless. But anyways, I don't want to rant. I don't want to get off in a different area. But bottom line being this, we're going to see how it goes tomorrow, but I'm going to be heading down again. It's a lot of time wasted in a way. It's interesting, and I know it's history setting. That's basically why I want to be there in person. Hopefully, we find out the verdict tomorrow, and we can probably celebrate. That would be nice. But it's important. This kind of stuff, it's gone on too long. But I knew we had to go through a lot of pain in order for people to start asking serious questions. I was pissed off 2 weeks into this in April. I think it was already just I lost it, and I'm like, how can no one see this? Why can't anyone see us? Well, you know what? And I've said this before, people had to get a crash course in conspiracy theories, because of course they trust their mainstream news, and they don't know what the hell's going on, because they've never read any alternative information or any information. So they needed a lot of pain. People needed to lose their businesses. People needed to get depressed. People needed to have a whole slew of different things happen. Restrictions on travel, the ability not to go to church, the ability not to watch sports sports, the ability not to go to concerts, the ability not to travel. I think I've already said that one. The ability not to drive across the border. Basically, people needed to have their whole daily way of life destroyed for a certain amount of period before they said, you know what? Enough of this. I don't know what's going on here, but it doesn't make much sense to me because these people don't know the full spectrum of the big game plan. But it doesn't matter. Most people don't need to know the big game plan at this point. They just need to get pissed off and ask questions. And this is what's happening now with the churches. So hopefully it goes the way I'm planning. I think it's going to go, and she comes out with her head between her knees, ashamed, and so we'll see what happens. And then from there, of course, this is going to set a precedent, like I said, across Canada. And, churches in Alberta can do the same thing. Manitoba can do the same thing. Ontario and Quebec and every other province and territory in Canada can also follow suit and take their medical officers to court and say, you know what's going on here? Why have you locked us down? Why are you closing down our churches when this, and this are all completely open? Why can't we just be open and do your 6-foot guidelines, wear masks, clean with the hand sanitizers and all that stuff? Why can't we do that? Nope, you got to close down. Why? Because you're a church. Oh, okay, so isn't that a form of discrimination? Oh, no, we're trying to keep you safe. We want you to keep it healthy. We want you to be healthy. So that's what it's all about. So this is the first news article I've seen that really explains, and it basically paints her in a very negative light. And of course, I almost wonder, I'm thinking, why is this happening? This is almost too good to be true. Why is this happening? I don't know why it's happening, but the only problem is, of course, is the shots are full steam ahead, And that's another problem. I talked about the COVID passports and how they're going to be implemented, and you're not going to be able to, apparently from what I've seen on CTV News and other news articles that I've discussed in the last few videos, you're not going to be able to, travel, do sporting events, go to malls, go to restaurants, cafes, and so forth without having your COVID pass, just like they have the green pass in Israel. And people thought I was a conspiracy theorist and a nut job for talking about that last year. Wow, it came to light. Maybe start listening a little closer and stop having such a big head and thinking you know everything, and stop trusting mainstream media. Because what they call conspiracy theory today, next month comes out of the news and hey, it's just a news story. But a month ago, you were calling us a conspiracy theorist about the internment camps, those COVID camps, which are essentially hotels. But oh no, Trudeau said that's a conspiracy theory. The news says, oh, that's a conspiracy theory in November. Come January, they have camps and internment camps where you got to go. You can't go home anymore. You got to go to a hotel and quarantine for 3 days at your expense. Why? Why do I have to do that if I can just go home? Serious questions. Lots of serious questions. And the answers they give us absolutely don't make any sense. You got to take a test before you get on the plane from the foreign country you're in. It has to be a negative, by the way. You have to pay for it. You land, and then, of course, oh, you got to get another test. Well, I just took a test in the country I came from. Well, that's not good enough. You have to take a test, and you have to quarantine for 3 days at the hotel. And then from there, you have to quarantine at home after that. And I have to pay for all of this. Huh? Oh, it seems like you're trying to discourage travel. But why would you do that? I don't know why, but you are trying to do that, and that's all I really need to know. You want to discourage travel. Oh, but it's to keep us safe. Really? If it was to keep us safe, then we should be able to quarantine at home in our residence. Why is it that if I landed in Vancouver, I have to stay, I think it's not the Westin, I can't remember what hotel it is in Richmond. Why can't I just come to my own house and quarantine, and the RCMP or whatever, the cops can come and knock on my door every day, make sure I'm still there? Why can't they do that anymore? No. They want me to spend more money for me to quarantine at a hotel. For what reason? Oh, it's just they won't tell you this, but of course it's to discourage you from traveling. Not to keep you safe, but just to keep you in fear and keep you miserable. What else? What other reasons would it be? I don't know. Doesn't make sense to me what's going on. And there's a reason why it's going the way it is. Those are two reasons right there why this whole thing, in my opinion, is a plandemic. The quarantine camps don't make sense. And of course, locking down the churches don't make sense. Only two. I've done hundreds of videos and I've talked about a lot of this stuff. And you can go through all of them and I explain over and over why a lot of things absolutely don't make sense. Another one is, why do kids have to wear masks in school? No one under 30s died in British Columbia. You know, the kids, maybe they get COVID, but guaranteed, it's like a common flu for them. They have a very strong immune system, but of course they have to wear masks and stuff like that, and they have to do the whole 9 yards. Get the hand sanitizer that causes cancer, blah 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 blah. You know, and I can keep rambling on, but in all honesty, I hate repeating myself. I like to offer videos with new information as much as I can. But a lot of times I just reiterate things I've already said before. But we'll see what happens tomorrow. It's going to be a good day, hopefully, from the looks of this article. And that judge, he's the same judge. What did he I think he, is it supplied? He gave an injunction so then the churches could continue praying. Just to 3 of the churches. I think this was last week. It's the same judge. And he stated that the churches could perform mass. It has to be an hour long. I think it's only 20 or 25 people wearing masks, social distancing outside. So how disrespectful and degrading is that for these churches? Oh yeah, you can be outside doing your church, but you got to follow all the guidelines and you got to wear a mask and social distance. Meanwhile, once again, you know, restaurants open, Metrotown food court open, Costco's open, airlines are open. You know, when you sit down on the plane, there's no space between you and the next person. And I knew this, and I've spoken to one airline stewardess, and she confirmed the exact same thing, saying it doesn't make any sense. Exactly. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Hopefully we can celebrate a small victory that leads to much bigger victories because of course this pandemic, you know what though, I knew this was going to happen. I just knew the longer this progressed, the more ridiculous it got, because the whole thing is based on I don't even know the word I want to use here, based on facts that they misinterpreted is one word, manipulated could be another word, to instill fear in the population and to scare people into submission. Of course, that's worked hook, line, and sinker. I'll be there tomorrow at probably 10 or 11, George. So they've done their job, and a big part of this push, in my opinion, was of course was to get people vaccinated, instill so much fear in them. And I can lose my YouTube channel on this, who knows? Because of course I have 2 strikes on my YouTube channel. So if you don't see my YouTube, please go to let me just put that link up here. You know, I'm not going to be silenced. I've been talking about this for a year for a reason, because I know I'm right. And if you know that you're right, I think it's your duty to speak up. Don't be one of those cowards who knows what's going on, but chooses to be quiet because they don't want to be labeled that guy. Who's that guy? Oh, he's the weirdo that talks about conspiracy theories. He's the weirdo that's bitching about COVID for the last 10 months, 11, 12 months now. You know what? I am that weirdo. I'm the guy who's pissed off, and I have been since day one. I don't care. I don't want to follow the crowd. If the crowd is going to lead me into a state of misery, into a state of destruction, and it's going to ruin my children's lives and their children's lives, I don't want to be part of that crowd. I'll be the leader on my own, and then whoever wants to follow or join me, I don't consider myself a leader, but I want people to join who believe, and we can make the change together. Everybody else will in return follow, because that's all they do is just follow. They follow the news, they follow Dr. Bonnie, and now what? Now what are they going to do? Now they're not going to follow Dr. Bonnie if this is revealed in mainstream news that churches are wide open, and then as more cases come and set more precedents, like I said, the house of cards will come down because, of course, this is not what you think it is. It never was from day one, and of course, it still isn't what it's still not about what people think it is. I'm trying to use my words here because I have to basically self-censor myself as a result of being on boob tube. In any case, it is what it is. We're going to get through this. I have faith in humans, and a lot of people aren't talking to family. A lot of people aren't talking to friends and stuff like that. And I feel in the end that we will all hopefully end up talking again. Everybody needed time apart because of this situation. The people who, believed in this whole thing needed time to understand, you know what? That this thing is not what you think it is. I'm not saying it's not real. But I'm saying they overemphasized everything to bring about the conclusion that they are looking for, which is, of course, to vaccinate everybody on the planet. That is their conclusion. That is their end goal. That is their end goal. And there's reasons why I personally will not be getting vaccinated. And I'm not going to be able to fly until enough of this is revealed and the house of cards comes burning down, crashing down. Because, of course, there is a whole plan behind this thing that we want to believe is the most deadly thing in our lives. I think that they've had enough time to figure it out so far. I think they've had enough time so far to figure it all out. Yeah, some people don't want to figure it all out. Let's just go through the comments. And George is right. A lot of people have had enough time, but I think they still have cognitive dissonance, and they just simply don't want to believe and can't come to grips and can't understand. Well, how is it possible if this is a worldwide thing, and what you're saying is that everyone's in cahoots? Well, you know what? You don't have to look at it that way, but yes, that's what I believe. All you do is have to ask questions and ask, does this make sense that Dr. Donkey is closing down churches when everything else is open? And everything else I've stated in all my other videos, it doesn't really make too much sense when you look that the average age is 86 years old of people dying from this, and they live in care homes. Why is it that they're doing this year when I've said in every single other year they've had the flus that have killed people like every single year, and you've never seen a massive reaction like you've seen this year. And the thing is, what you need to understand is you're basically involved in a form of a movie. Just because everything is grand and everything's shut down and sports are shut down and airlines are essentially closed and you're not allowed to travel, all it is a movie, in my opinion. They're doing that because, of course, it gives you the effect that this thing is massive, it's real, and it's taking a huge toll on the human family. Well, it is taking a huge toll, but not from the virus, but the reaction from government, the intervention of the government to the virus. That's the big problem. Okay, that's the huge problem, and the thing is, what you need to understand, and what I've said in other videos, the longer this progresses, the more people will awake. Because, like I said, it's been a year now, and a lot of people will start saying, "Holy, it's actually been a year of this. This doesn't make any sense." People are just going to be like, "Wow, really a year? That went quick." And we're still in this, and now we're like wearing masks everywhere and stuff. Like, wow, I don't get it. Doesn't make much sense. Doesn't make much sense. So I'm going to start at the top here. Hey, Lacey. Thanks for coming. Hey, Heather. It's almost my bedtime now. Brandy says, not sure how long I can stay. Costco and Walmart are open. I've talked to people about that. They're like, well, that's a food establishment. That's considered essential. And, people need to get food. I'm like, well, it kind of makes sense, but it's pretty jam-packed in there. But I'm like, okay, well, I can kind of see that. But at the same time, like I said, my kids' school is open. All these coffee shops are open. And like I said, if this was as serious of a situation as they want us to believe, come on, would anyone be really going to a coffee shop? No. Like, this is the thing: is you got to be logical when you're thinking out of fear. You just, everything makes sense because you're scared. You want to do everything in your power to stop the fear, so you'll do anything you can to stay safe. But logically speaking, if like your thing is, if you're actually totally completely scared about this, why are coffee shops open? How can I go to McDonald's and get fries and a hamburger? Why is that open? If this is as serious as the news and media lead us to believe, if this was as serious as they say, I don't think anybody would be going out because of course they'd be scared of getting this. But that's not the case. That's absolutely not. Last year it was the case. Everybody was scared. Last year, March, April, May, right? People were scared. Now, people are just going along with it. In the back of their mind, I think they realize, you know what? Something's here, but it's not what they're telling us because, of course, everything's, whatever's open, people are going there. Would I order skip the dishes if I thought this was as serious as they tell us on the news? Why would I order skip the dishes? Me in general, I'm saying me personally. Why would I go order skip the dishes from Cactus Club? Just visualize. This is what I do. This is how my thought process is visualization. Now, if I order from Cactus Club, okay, so I order from Cactus Club. I'm ordering hamburgers, fries, right? Stuff that my kids want. So you got the chefs there, the cooks or whatever. They're making my burgers for me. They're cooking my fries. They're around my food. Oh, but they're wearing a mask and gloves. Yes, they are. But logically speaking, why would I take a chance and order food from Cactus Club and risk my kid's life, risk my life to order takeout? And then you got a third party, skip the dishes person, who picks up that order, brings it to my house. Oh, but the food's all closed. Still, he's touched the bag, hasn't he? So why, logically, would I take that chance? If there was any chance of actually dying, why would I take the chance of ordering food? Why would thousands of other people in Vancouver take the chance of ordering food from Skip the Dishes? Doesn't make sense. The answer, of course, is they're not as scared as they make us appear, or they're not as scared as they think they are. They are going through the motions, but in actuality, their subconscious knows that this thing is not what they're telling them. Or else you wouldn't be ordering from there. You wouldn't go to restaurants. Yes, you'd go to Costco because you got to eat, but there's no way in hell you're going to order a Starbucks coffee if you actually thought that this thing might get you. If there was a good chance or a possible chance of you ending up in ICU or dying, would you do that? I wouldn't. I can only speak for myself and only think that most people would feel the same way based on the, humans as a race. They kind of have the same fears and they have this overall, not completely, but sort of the same logic. They're not going to risk their lives to order a hamburger or a coffee if there was a chance that they would get it. But of course, it's not like that. Do people understand what I'm getting at here? Anyways, acting all scared because there's peaceful protesters in front of their office. Yeah, I know. She's all scared and stuff like that. Meanwhile, of course, I'm scared for my kid's life, not a result of this pandemic, but as a result of what they're trying to implement, the Great Reset and everything else, Agenda 21, Agenda 30, basically trying to restructure society, crash the economy as a result of the situation that they are making appear much bigger than it really is. Jenna says, totally agree. Lacey Lynn, politicians and health experts are liars and do what I say, not as I do. Exactly. Hi, Chris. From Doug Ford and Johnny Torres on terrible. George is 7 minutes behind. He can catch up. This is really, really astonishing to see that these people have been acting like people in the Anderson's Tale, and they're so brainwashed that they still believe in the official narrative on all this. I'm not going to say the words. I am from Poland. Even in 1981, when we had martial law, we could go to churches. This is not about. I'm not gonna not about what they're telling us at all. Thanks, Maria. And I noticed a lot of people from Poland understand what's going on because they've lived through communist countries and or communist regimes, dictatorships, and so forth. Many people I've met at the marches, like I've said, are from Poland and many other Eastern European countries, including Romania, Bulgaria, Hungary, was it Kazakhstan, I think, and also people from other places like Hong Kong. Where else has there been? Can't remember, but a lot of people from other countries, they come here for a better life, and looks like communism is following them. Where I live in a very small town in Quebec, our church hasn't been open either, totally closed. Here's Brian's 5 minutes of fame. Yeah, he sounds like a bot. Go to school, yeah. Coming up in a year, yeah, a year of our life wasted on nonsense. People still don't understand it. Civil disobedience, exactly. Yep, I was ready day one. If you aren't angry, you are a fool. I agree. So it's because they've got they don't have their feet in the pool. They don't have their feet in the stream or both feet in the lake, whatever you want to do. They got 1 foot in the lake and one foot out, meaning they're not completely immersed in this topic because, of course, either they don't want to think about it, they want to relax, or they really don't give a shit. They got their job, they got their paycheck. Why do they care about wearing a stupid mask? Big deal. It is a big deal because, of course, mandatory mask, and eventually you're going to have to, you know, get the thing here. What is this? Nathalie, our mayor here says the protesters are a threat. He's a little weasel. Yep. She's looking pretty worried there. Did you see her swallow? Yeah. She should be worried. I don't know what's going on with her. I really don't know what her deal is, but we can only speculate what's going on behind the scenes, and I don't like stating conspiracy theories. It's just my opinions on that. I like to go with as much fact as possible, and the fact being that churches shouldn't be closed. Doesn't make sense, and open them up, open everything up. And like I said, if people want to wear a mask, go right ahead, but don't force that garbage on me. If you're wearing a mask, you're safe. Oh no, I'm wearing my mask to protect you. Well, you know what? Wear 2 masks, wear 3 masks, wear 4 masks, and I'm sure you'll be protected, and you won't have to worry about me anymore. Just you do you, and I do me. My body, my choice, right? It works in this situation. She worked for the WHO. I know she did. She worked in Africa with the WHO, and you got to wonder what she did over there. I think it's past insane, don't you think? Oh yeah, it's past insane. No sound? Should be sound. That explains everything. No sound. Able to hear you, but not Dr. Donkey. Oh, I wonder why. Shit. They are satanic, even if you aren't religious, they are. You know what, George? I'll have to agree with you on that one. Even though people just say we're a bunch of conspiracy theorists, well, the truth shall set you free. And this is the time in our lives where the unveiling is being unveiled. It's just a matter if you want to see it or not. And eventually you will not be able to hide from the truth because, of course, it's going to be broadcast on every single channel. Cognitive, Paris says, cognitive dissonance. I love how you react to dumb comments like that. Yeah, who cares? You know what? You got to have trolls. Sometimes, obviously, if every second person was a troll, it'd be irritating. Every now and then, you just laugh at them. I think it's just a complete bot. Way to go, Brian Jones. You tell the truth of pandemics. You are a zombie if you don't. You are the truth teller, man. Thanks. Thank you for all your time and effort. Everyone's doing whatever they can to get this out there. You know, it's our job because everyone's failed us. Governments failed us. Health officials have failed us. Media has certainly failed us. So we are basically the media. And if we want our lives to change, we have to change them. You can't expect other people to have your best interests at heart. I'm not even just talking about this. I'm talking about every aspect of your life, including weight loss. Don't expect this to get somebody else to lose weight for you. You have to do that yourself. In the same regards, if you want your life to change, if you want your society to change, make the change happen. It all starts with you, and then it ends with millions of people, and in this case, it will be billions of people. YouTube can be your school. Regular school is just brainwashing. Totally. You don't need school anymore. I don't believe you do. After you learn how to read and write, like seriously, from there I think you can either learn online or just learn the specified business or job you want to be in. Anyways, I don't want to ramble. Don't pay attention to the troll. How pathetic it is to come to a page you don't like and troll. He needs a hobby. Yeah, he's having fun. He's got nothing else to do. He's a sad sack of shit wearing two masks outside. So you got to feel sorry for him. He's probably lost a couple of brain cells, breathing in his own carbon dioxide. Good to really hear some common sense. Thanks. Yeah, common sense that's actually uncommon. I had a troll tonight. Unlike any other, I sent her my blessings exactly. When they speak, you just gotta watch their face and body language. It says a lot, yeah. Dr. Donkey's very, very nervous. Yep, hope this brings this all down and it all opens up. Adrian says, this is what we need because she never ever shared the data. I've asked her office for a year. Well, you know why? Because she doesn't have any data to share. She actually said once in the news, none of this. I think she was talking about the masks. And she said not. She specifically stated, I don't know, I can't remember what it was about the mask, but she said it's not based on science. I can't find that video, or I don't know where the video is. But if you type in Bonnie Henry, nothing is based on science. I'm sure the video will pop up. I'm just too lazy to do it. She's just taking orders. I think she didn't bother because most people agree, and there's not enough who see through to fight back. But the thing is, I don't understand. Like, how long did she or all these other people think they could pull this on us? Like, I just don't understand their perspective of think like you're doing such a massive um I don't even I gotta watch the words I use here, but you're doing such a massive pandemic. How did you not think that after a year that people would just continue complying? I don't know. It's weird. BC Prairie Guard. I feel like many businesses will still require a mask and harass customers, even if a mask mandate is struck down. Um, yeah, but then legally they're not allowed to do that. Then you can call the cops on them, maybe. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Wearing those masks 8 hours a day will also kill people. In my opinion, yes. Can make you very sick, in my opinion. We're not meant to wear a mask. If we were, then God would have created us with a mask on our face already. Wearing a mask every day for months and months and months, 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, more and more in some cases. Just think about that. 40 times 4, it's 160 hours every month you're wearing a mask. And you think that's okay? I don't think that's okay. I don't know how much harm it's doing, but it's not doing good for you, that's for sure. Can we Match.com Dr. Donkey with Ontario's Premier Doug Ford? His mistress was just outed, so he's available. These people are just such clowns. It's like, that's why I'm kind of laughing. This whole thing is like literally joke level, comedy level ridiculousness. And it's hilarious. It makes me sad, angry, and it makes me laugh a lot of times after a year of just total horseshit garbage. And I'm like thinking, like, am I the only one who thinks this is a little bit odd after a year? When they repeat your words without proper spelling, etc., they are typically a bot. Yeah. George says, the fear infects so many so deeply. Yeah, it's pretty wild. Yeah, well, that's the thing is when you go to court, you have to provide evidence, right? The civil lawsuit against Bonnie asked for all her data too, and the data, the data is there for everyone to see, and that's the thing is like once the data comes out, because people just simply don't want to look at it, but once the actual data comes out, even if they don't look at it, it doesn't really matter. The general public doesn't have to see the data. If they want to, they can look at look at all the evidence in the court cases. It's up to them. But once the ruling has been set, then of course we can get our life back. Hopefully, right? We'll see what happens. BC Prairie Girl says, I was fed up last March also. I thought it was unthinkable to shut everything down. It was ridiculous. But the thing is, people just thought, oh, wow, really? They're shutting everything down. This must be super serious. And that's what their mentality was. They made it so big, and they say, if you're going to tell a lie, tell it so big, because then people, like I'm paraphrasing, but then people will believe the lie. The bigger the lie, the easier it is to fool the people, because they would never think that such a massive, massive lie would be possible. But of course, they're wrong. They are completely wrong. Yes, and unless it affects them in some way, they won't open their eyes and realize the truth. That's the thing, is if they don't have their own business, if they don't have any skin in the game. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying this isn't real. I'm just saying there's a way to do things where, of course, we didn't have all the destruction of the economy. And you have to understand, like, we still have cases going on. How are the cases going on if everybody's wearing masks wherever they're mandated? How? And now they're telling people to wear 2 masks. So you have to ask yourself, how is it continuing? Oh, but if we didn't wear the mask, it would be 10 times more contagious. Oh, really? Okay. You keep believing that. You do you, and I'll do me. You wear the 4 or 5 masks, and I'll just do whatever I want. What if she doesn't attend the court again? I don't think it matters. I don't know if she's there in person or if the government lawyer is there on her behalf. It really doesn't matter. She can't, once you're in court, you can't just like, oh, I'm not going to show up. No, there's consequences. So it doesn't really matter. Didn't actually think it would happen here. Well, it's here. All this stuff they were calling conspiracy theories are here now. Yeah, the COVID pass in order to fly is being discussed on local news and has been for the last week. Look it up, people who don't read. I'm from the government. I'm here to help you. Yeah, that's what Ronald Reagan said in the 80s. That's the scariest thing that nobody wants to hear. I feel it's happening to get us to wake up, start healing, be loving, if not expect the worst. And this is the only beginning. There's worse to come. So humanity be love. Well, we'll see what happens. Either way, people are going to have to become awake, and there's no other way around it. Everything will be exposed one way or another. Becky Morrison says, I don't want the government's help. They are no help. Nope. Not enough people are asking themselves questions, Nathalie says. Bankrupt the airlines, the hotels will be empty for Rona jail, which will also be handy for re-education camps, jails for people who refuse the vaccines. Well, we'll see what happens with all this stuff. I'm not really fearful. I don't like what's going on, but I'm willing to take whatever happens because, of course, I'm not going to get that jab. My fellow Canadians, we're in for a serious time. Hope you're all strong enough to get through this. We're just getting started. Yeah, we are just getting started, unfortunately. Masks on children is straight up child abuse, 100%. The models were faulty, and they always use the models. Oh, the models were wrong. Sorry about that. So we're going to give you another model now. Oh, sorry, that model was wrong, and so forth. Computer models to define lockdowns and to destroy our lives. Pretty dumb. All based on mental manipulation to see how much people would take. Global psyop. Yes, it is. History repeating itself. Tests are RIGGED before they even happen. Yes. Yeah, but a good weirdo. Yeah, totally. Yes, Brian Jones, F off. I haven't kept my mouth shut either. I've lost a few friends and I don't care. You know what? Here's the thing. A lot of people that think we're whack jobs, and some of them are scared. Some of them don't know what to believe. But I think in the end, a lot of those people are just going to say, you know what? I didn't know. Either they're going to apologize or they're just going to call you up one day and say, yeah, that really sucked. I was scared. I guess you knew more than I did. Who knows? They might not apologize, but in the end, I'm sure they're going to either forgive you because really there's nothing to forgive you from, or they're just going to realize that, I made a mistake, and they might not admit it, but whatever happens happens. But you got to move forward. This is a world thing. This is a worldwide uh, thing we're involved in. And if people have to be left at the roadside for now, that's fine. They just have to, because I'm not going to argue with people about if this thing is uh, legit or not, and so forth. And if the government's overreaction is good or not, and this and that, I'm not going to argue it. I'm not arguing about it anymore. I'm done with that whole part of my life. It's unnecessary, and I just don't want to deal with it. People can believe whatever they want. It's not my job to convince you. You should be able to understand what's going on there. And if you're too scared, or if you just believe it, then that is your prerogative. But please, I'm kind of done with that whole thing, and I wish everybody the best. I don't wish any harm on anybody whatsoever. And that's just fine. It's fine the way whatever happens, happens, but you have to move forward. In my opinion, the truth is always a truth, and you just have to, you got to keep going forward. That's how I view this. I've been at the forefront of this in Vancouver since basically April. And I don't go to every single rally or every single march, but I'm definitely sharing information on a consistent basis, trying to do as much as I can. Like everybody, I'm nothing special. I'm just another cog in the wheel trying to get this thing, the whole thing blown wide open so we can get on with our lives and show everybody, look, this is what we were trying to tell you, but you didn't want to see it. Do you understand now what the hell I was talking about? Do you understand why I was so pissed? Do you get it? I wasn't acting crazy for no reason. I was mad for a reason. I don't like to be lied to. I don't want anyone to get hurt. I don't want you to get hurt. I don't want me to get hurt. I don't want our kids to get hurt. And that's why I was acting the way I was. That's why I get mad. I'm getting mad because, of course, you're not seeing what I am, and I just know that I'm right. It's not being cocky. It's not being arrogant. It's not really my opinion. It's the truth, backed up by facts that are very logical and very easy to uncover if you want to. If you don't want to see them, well, that's a different story. And that's where I've been for a long period of time. I just got to keep moving forward, sharing information, and just learning about this so I can understand exactly everything that's happening as much as I can, and pointing out all of the ridiculousness coming from the news and from the government. The problem is they will blame the vax stuff in the churches. Well, you know what? Here's the thing. They're going to blame who they're going to blame, but at the end of the day, we know the truth, and people who want to see the truth can. They can do anything. They can release bioweapons and all this other garbage if they wanted to. I'm not saying they have, I'm not saying they will. I'm just saying anything is possible. They're setting the churches up, don't fall for it. Same thing going to happen in Texas. Well, what are we supposed to do then? We're not just going to keep everything closed. Obviously, we want to open up. If they're going to set us up, they're going to set us up. There's not much we can do, is there? We have to open up. We can't just sit there and say, oh, yeah, we're going to keep closed. And see, the thing is, what you need to understand, Becky, is any way they run this, they kind of win. I'm not saying they're going to win the whole thing, but yes, of course, they can set up churches and say there's a lot of cases there, and this is why this happened. Blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I don't really see that happening. But in any case, you can't just keep locked down forever. You just got to do what you have to do and hope for the best, in my opinion. I think they've had enough time so far to figure it out. I've lost hope in humanity, says Nathalie. World Bank, LOL. I'll happily say has not been isolated and never shown to cause the illness. All I did was look at the stats in BC in February and March 2020 to know it was BS. I didn't follow BC CDC data weekly and saw them stop testing for in where is that? But let me just close that. I saw them stop testing for influenza in March and watched all other respiratory illnesses decline to zero. Of course, that's where did the flu go this year? Oh yeah, there's no more flu. It's all C19, right? Trying to use a code word, and that's what they're doing. That's all I've done. I've looked at the BC CDC website many times, and you look at the statistics, and I'm just shocked at what I see because it's all right there for you in black and white. I showed it on the last video I did on my live stream, and I'm shocked. Every time I see it, I'm totally shocked, and I'm thinking, you know what? This is a government website, the British Columbia Centre for Disease Control. Dr. Donkey Henry must have this data, and if she doesn't, she shouldn't be a health official. This data proves it's not what they're telling us. It's not nearly as serious as they're telling us. So that's why I get mad, because the statistics and the data and the information is available. And then you just know that they're hiding something. They absolutely are, because of course, if I can find that data, she can find that data very, very easily. Same here. Lost many friends in February, March 2020 when I was already saying it was BS. They have come back yet, though. I think you meant they haven't come back yet, though. It's all theater. If this was as deadly as they say, those masks would not save us. True, that's another point. Like, those masks are not, you put the mask on, there's holes everywhere. If you've actually tried to wear that mask outside, I've tried it just to see, and you can see all the vapors on a very cold day. You see it, it just comes out all the sides. So that's telling me that, if we had this thing going on, and I'm using certain words so I don't get censored, it would come out the sides of the face and the top and the bottom. So it's not protecting us. So if this was as deadly as they say, those masks will not save us. My military friend told me that even those masks they wear for chemical warfare don't work for a virus. It's a trauma loop, tried and tested over the years by many groups like the CIA. Take away liberty, communication with others, muzzling, etc. Then giving you a little freedom back, then taking it away again for your behavior. Yeah, basically they're just trying to punish us. They think we're their little pets. Tony says exactly. Why order food if you're scared of C19? Hypocrites are a big problem. Well, that's the thing. A lot of these people kind of know deep down it's not as real. But let's go for coffee and let's go here and let's go there. You know what? Doesn't make much sense. Let me just close this. Hey, Christine. The fish hat the Pope wears represents Dagon, the fish god Pisces. Now the mask wearing is an occult ritual representing the age of Aquarius. Well, we are in the age of Aquarius. Stop talking about French fries. It's a coup d'etat on humanity. Enslavement is their aim. Ukraine knows what's up. You blocked Brian Jones, good. My ancestors are from Poland and Ukraine. My friends from Eastern Europe. This is communism. Totally, it is. I was talking about the other lawsuit against Bunny. Not sure if you saw it, but it is great. Bring in all the questions we have been asking for a year. I can send it to you. Okay, I'm just gonna go. She lost people in her life too. It hurt like hell, but that's the way it is. Pray for them. Well, I don't want to hurt. I wouldn't lose anybody, but when both sides have such strong feelings, and I'm not saying I've been an angel. I've gotten pretty pissed off and stuff. If you can't really see eye to eye, then you just need a cooling off period, meaning you can't really hang out for a while until all this blows over and people realize what's really going on. That's the only way it's going to work, in my opinion, because of course this is such a serious, life-changing situation. I just can't pretend that I don't feel this way because, of course, I'm looking at this data and just screaming that people don't understand it. Just out of control. Abbott is a coward and doing this forever for coward, I'm asking. But at least he's opening it up now. I don't know. I don't really know Abbott that well, but look at the N95 mask. It's not even good enough for asbestos fires. You need a BSL-3 at a minimum for any virus. It's a shit show. Ignorance is a luxury that no honest man can afford. My favorite videos was you and your wife at Costco. I laughed my ass off. I like doing those videos. They're funny and stuff, but I like doing informative videos as well. Those are funny, and I had a good chuckle doing a bunch of those mid to late last year. It was good. I just making a point wearing those videos just to show how ridiculous this all is. And people would get mad at me, and some people would laugh. Most people just ignored me. It's pretty weird. Like some of these people are literally in a bloody zombie state. But yeah, those videos were hella funny. It was fun doing, and wearing a hazmat suit in Costco was a blast. Anyways, I think I'm going to wrap it up. An hour and 20 minutes here. I'm going to go to bed. I got to go down to the courthouse tomorrow. It's been a slice. These videos are always longer than I think they're going to be, but I think it's important to keep exposing this stuff. I think it's very important to expose all this crap that we are going through because, of course, this is an epic time in world history, and a lot of people just don't understand what the hell's going on here. Just pointing, I'm just have the video here, not video, the page. So I'm I'm still kind of in shock that I'm looking at this article, and it actually makes her look like the person that she is, basically a lying, misleading, deceiving person, in my opinion. So the judge grills lawyer about Dr. Donkey not providing affidavit in church case. Amazing article. I'll put a link to that in the article. Thanks for the live stream. I always enjoy them. Look forward to seeing all you guys live streams tomorrow. Good night. I'll go find that article. I put the link there. Hopefully you can see it. Thanks to everybody joining in. 36 people. Time now is 10:41 p.m. Oh, I'm kind of tired. I'd rather be doing other things than doing these videos, in all honesty, but after reading about all this NWO garbage for years and years and years and years, and just to see it come to the limelight, come to fruition in 2020, and just continue down that path, well, pretty much it's our time to shine. All these crazy conspiracy people like me, pretty much it's our time to shine because we've been reading all this information, all this literature for years, but now it's actually implementing our daily life. That COVID pass is the big one, in my opinion. Not being able to buy, not being able to go anywhere. Wow, and people are going to be okay with that? That's going to be another one that's going to wake up a shitload of people, is when they realize that, you know what, you have to have this in order to go on a plane, or get any ounce of your daily life back. So it's just, anyways, that's it. I'm done. Tired, and I'm not going to ramble anymore. I talked too much already. We'll talk to you guys probably sooner than later, unfortunately. Hopefully we have some good news for tomorrow, and then we can start getting our lives back. Don't know if it's going to happen. Maybe it'll just, who knows? I have zero clue. I don't know anything anymore because, of course, things have gotten so insane that nothing makes sense, and I don't expect anything. I just hope for the best and pray for the best, and that's it. Anyways, thank you for watching. All the best to you. Share this stream everywhere. I can't share it in the groups right now. I'm banned from sharing for a few more days in the Facebook groups. So if everybody who's still here, if you could just do a quick share. Thanks, Monica. Appreciate it. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Kim. Thanks to Adrian, Ms., Nathan, Nathalie, Tony, Mark, Greg, Vic, Christine. Thanks to everybody who joined in. And thanks for sharing. Awesome. Thanks, Elizabeth. Thanks, Monica, for sharing. Keep sharing. Share, 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 share. Anyways, that's it. We're done. I'm done. And we'll see you sooner than later. Have a great evening. Keep your chin up. Keep smiling. We're going to get through this one way or another because, of course, we're human. We're all humans. And this is our time to shine. The light will shine in the dark, and the dark will become the light. It's over. It's going to be over more and more. We're going to crush these scumbags and make them scurry into the little holes, little cracks in the walls where they belong. Because these people have no reason. They don't have our best interest at heart, and they have absolutely no reason to be in positions of power, specifically after the way for what they've done. I can't get the words up or whatever. I'm done. I'm tired. Okay, take it easy. Bye. Oh, shit.